Joining me over the phone right now is Mike Giardi from NFL Network. Mike, thanks for joining me. How you doing?
I'm good, Danny. How are you?
I'm doing good. You were in Detroit earlier this week for the joint practices with the Patriots and the Lions. They play their first preseason game. That's tonight on this Thursday, August 8th. But if you're not listening on Thursday, then it already happened. But really, who cares about the first preseason game, right, Mike?
Yeah, it's always intriguing to watch some of the younger players compete, but let's face it, it's not the be all end all, and most of the important players, like Tom Brady, will not be participating.
And Tom Brady's the biggest story, and his contract is the biggest story. When this was first reported, I think it was Sunday. I think it was first reported.
Yep.
It was reported as a 2-year. $70 million extension. As we know, the details are basically it's an $8 million raise for Brady this year, which is still going to be the last year of his contract because those 2 years on the extension, they are void right as the league year will end in March, and so Brady will still be a free agent. In the process, it opens up $5.5 million in cap space, given the Patriots somewhere around $13 million, I believe, if I have my math correct for this season. $13 million in cap space. And Mike, I'm going back and forth with some friends over the weekend seeing this, and we're wondering why or how the Patriots could give Brady this contract, give him a raise, and then also open up $5.5 million in cap space. I know it can be a complicated system, but I should let the people know, full disclosure, I texted you and I said, Mike, explain this to me because I'm trying to clarify with some people how they open up the $5.5 million in cap space with this. And basically, there was this website that explained it because no report really explained it except this one website that you pointed me to. And it's basically let's clarify this for people who might not know. The deferred years, the 2-year extension, they basically defer the money for the cap hit, right? That's basically all that happens with the extension?
Yeah, and again, it goes to show you that how, and Belichick has said this before, how you can really kind of make the cap do what you want to make it do. And this is the manipulation of the cap, and this is something that other teams have done. And in fact, I know multiple people pointed it out. Drew Brees signed his extension. It's a big 5-year extension, but it was really a 2-year contract, and the years 3, 4, and 5 were voidable years. But the Patriots have never done this before, so I think it surprised a lot of people in that regard as well. But yeah, it's just again the way you can do things to the cap is pretty it's pretty malleable that way, and they were able to to create some space here, but yet somehow give him money. It's you don't want to bog people down in the details, but it does. It happens a lot more than I think people think.
Okay, well, this situation though, with Brady being 42 years old, being one of the best quarterbacks in the league, still, the quarterback of the reigning, defending Super Bowl champs. This is, as even Brady pointed out, a unique situation. So, with this unique situation, Mike, when you look at this Brady contract and Brady's future, because everybody now is questioning Brady's future with the Patriots, questioning his relationship with Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft. I mean, what else is new there, right? How long have we been questioning that relationship with some of the decisions the organization makes? But it's really in question right now. When you saw this contract and then you saw the details and the void years and the team not being able to franchise him and Brady still being able to become a free agent, what does this contract tell you about Tom Brady's future in New England?
Well, I tweeted about it on Sunday when the news first came out, and I think it surprised some people in the sense that he wanted a shorter deal. Now, initially he didn't want a shorter deal. He obviously wanted security. I want to play till I'm 44, 45 years old. 45 is his stated date. Give me that security. And the Patriots were like, look, we can't do it that way. You're in uncharted. He also said not only unique, but he said uncharted territory. And I think that's from the Patriots. Like, no one has ever done this. No one has ever been a productive quarterback, a Super Bowl caliber quarterback at this age. We're not comfortable giving you $60 million guaranteed or whatever, whatever the going rate would be for that term, for a longer term. And so Brady sort of put off by it and then had to reassess. And in reassessing quickly, he's like, screw it. I want a 1-year deal, essentially. I'm betting on me, and I'm putting the onus on you with this no franchise tag and the voidable years being ripped up at the end of the end of the league year, that by putting it on them, he's betting on himself, saying, if I perform as I did last year, even if, there might have been some slight regression last year, but you still end up winning a Super Bowl. So if he gets to that point again, he puts the onus on the Patriots. You're going to let Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady, 6, who knows, maybe a 7th Super Bowl ring and all these trips to AFC title games. You're going to let me become a free agent? Who wins that PR battle?
But
it's not going to be the Patriots.
Mike, they're not really going to let him become a free agent, though, right? I mean, look, I think the reality of this is the unique situation, unprecedented, uncharted territory. Is that what you said? He called it. If Brady performs at a high level still, he will get another raise before next season, right? Isn't that the reality of this, if you really want to simplify it?
I would say that I'm fairly certain that's what will happen, but I will say that I was surprised that the Patriots sort of approached him this offseason with a similar deal that they approached him with last offseason, which was, you can get $25 million, but we're attaching incentives to it that were going to be difficult to reach. And look, Brady's no fool. He didn't reach any of them last year. And then he's looking at his receiving core saying, well, Gronk's gone. Obviously they expect Julian to be back, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
But we're throwing a lot of things at the wall here and hoping something sticks. So how am I going to throw for, 5,000 yards if I'm throwing a Maurice Harris and a rookie receiver in N'Keal Harry and Braxton, whatever it ends up shaking out. And I think that's where, you wonder if the Patriots are going to sort of go hardline again when push comes to shove. I don't know. I'm with you. I tend to lean towards strongly that they'll figure out a way to make it work. But clearly I don't know that I'm saying he's through playing ball with them, but he's playing harder ball with them than I think he ever has.
Is putting his house on the market, $40 million, his Brookline home, $39.5 million he put it on the market? What is that? Yeah. Is he really selling it, or is he? I mean, is that part of the game? Like, I'm a little confused by that, but at the same time, I'm not overreacting to it and saying, well, this is it, because I want to simplify it and say I think that if Brady has a potential MVP caliber season, or at least leads this team to the conference championship again, I think they're going to find a way to bring him back. They're not going to let him leave. But I mean, how about him putting his house on the market? What does that tell you?
Yeah, I understand the follow the real estate, and obviously he's been looking for houses in New Jersey and Greenwich, Connecticut, and some of these posh towns. I think Super G Giselle has not loved living here. I think that she'd like to be closer to New York. So the fact that they're looking in that direction doesn't mean oh my God, he's gonna go play for the Jets next year or the
No.
Giants.
Yeah.
That doesn't make me think that. They like to flip their real estate. That's something they've done before. I mean, they built a house in LA and I think they took a loss on it, but they never even lived in that house. They've sold condos in New York City, and it's all been within 4, 5, 6 years. They buy, they build up equity, and they turn around and flip it. Rich people staying richer. It's a smart move if you can do it. So I'm not too caught up in that.
Okay.
I do think that the releasing of it, when it got released, and I know they retracted it at least from the websites. So whether it's still actively for sale or not, I don't know, that was a little odd to me. wait, so he just signed this contract that was supposed to be, that initially is reported as a 2-year extension, and it's not, and then he comes out and says it is what it is, and I'm on a 1-year deal, and basically spits all over the idea that it was an extension. And then all of a sudden this house pops up for sale and then gets retracted. It's like, I don't, that was a little odd. And maybe it's a power play, or maybe someone just hit the wrong button and submitted the house. And then what are you doing? You totally screwed me here. And, they pull it back off. I don't know, but I'm not going absolutely bananas about that. And plus, as we know, Danny, he has the money. All right. You know what? Say we can sell this house for $39.5 million. Great. We made a huge profit on it. Now we just buy a condo in Boston for a few million, or wherever, somewhere close that I can get to work back and forth. And, then we turn around and we go buy that house in Greenwich or wherever.
Yeah.
So I'm not crazy over that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not overreacting to that. I think we have a tendency to, especially in this day and age, to overreact to stuff and maybe even overthink it. I mean, for all we know, Brady has some other house lined up somewhere else, right? I mean, who knows, right down the street. Like, I have no idea. And I don't want to sit here and talk about his house for 20 minutes, but I had to ask you, I didn't know if you were on board with some people are on board with, which is overreacting to the house, but it sounds like you're not. Speaking with Mike Giardi from NFL Network, joins me over the phone today as the Patriots get set for preseason week 1, but the big story is Tom Brady's contract. And, look, Mike, if Brady wanted to hold out and demand that he becomes the highest paid player in the league, I don't think he would lose fans here in New England. In fact, I think he would gain fans around the league if he did that for really playing hardball with Bill Belichick. So I really don't feel too bad for Brady at the same time, because he did sign this. Nobody made him sign this $8 million raise or this 2-year extension. Nobody made him sign it. He signed it, and in the process, he does help the team out to open up $5.5 million. Like, so when people say they're not, maybe they're not.
He could be helping himself, but it could be a left tackle, it could be a receiver, it could be a tight end. Like those are all possibilities.
Exactly, and I think this idea that this contract is an example that Brady and Belichick, there's a rift there, or they're not getting along, and that this is the end. I think we need to take a step back and go, well, let's see what they do now with this extra $5.5 million. Let's see what they do with this $13 million. So Brady did do something to also help the team, which ultimately, like you said, could help himself, which then could also help his negotiation next offseason for another raise with the Patriots. So, I mean, I'm not wrong when I say he did do something to help the team, right?
Oh, absolutely. I do find it interesting, Danny, that you mentioned it, like no one said you have to sign these contracts. No one said you have to take less than the market value. And I think his whole thing for a long time, and, maybe it's still in his brain, is, I wanted to finish where I started. I want to be, I don't want to be Montana. I don't want to end up somewhere else. And this is a great story, and to play as long as he has in one place. So I do find it odd that now all of a sudden is when he's like, I'm gonna play a little bit tougher here, and I'm gonna go hard line. Like in his head, look, he looks around and says, I'm the best quarterback in the league, and he is, if not one of the best. He's definitely one of the best right now, still, right?
Yeah.
At his age. But why wait until you're 42 to make that push? And why would you expect that the Patriots would be like, yeah, here's 3-year extension, real extension with top of the line quarterback money? Like, the time to do that was, he could have done it 3 years ago.
3 years ago, yeah.
You're in this crazy place where who the heck knows? I mean, yeah, you take great care of yourself. But again, no one's done it before. We kind of almost have to, I understand the Patriots saying we're living year to year on this, because we don't know how it's going to look.
Yeah.
And we don't want to commit. And then all of a sudden you suck, and we're saddled with, whatever it is, $20 million against the cap, and we're looking for another quarterback, because then all of a sudden we can't continue to be a competitive football team, or as competitive as we'd like, because we're paying a 44-year-old quarterback who can't really play anymore. So I did find that kind of odd that he's pushing it now. He should have pushed it a long time ago.
Yeah.
Again, I think if he pushed it a long time ago, Danny, like you said, the fans wouldn't have revolted against him, because they'd be like, he's the best quarterback in the league. You pay him. That's what everybody else does. You pay your quarterback. Pay your quarterback.
Yeah, he could do it now. I mean, honestly, he could hold out, or he could demand this multi-year, fully guaranteed contract. He wouldn't lose fans. Like I said, I think he would gain fans for playing that game with Belichick. But at the same time, man, you signed this. And
right.
So, I have a tough time feeling bad for the guy. But that $13 million, where do you think they're going with that? And when you see that number, do you think Gronk or no?
Well, I do think Gronk a little bit, in the sense that by creating more space, you've allowed yourself to do something. If you feel like look, they clearly know they have some needs. So now you have to wait to see how it shakes out with the other teams, and who knows, maybe some young player emerges in some other city, and they say, hey, our veteran left tackle, who's a good player, isn't worth what we're paying him. This guy's going to beat him out, or we're willing to make that move now because he's going to be 90% of that guy. And all of a sudden they have more wiggle room. One of the concerns, I think, I'm pretty sure Greg Bedard wrote about it, was that where they were prior to the restructure, they couldn't make the Trent Williams, which I know everybody wants, and Washington's still kind of holding on to that. They don't want to make that move, but it sure sounds like they're in a terrible place. And I don't know and they've been in a terrible place for 6 months. So I'm not really sure how that's going to change. But if you make a move for Trent Williams, then you would have eliminated Gronk in his entirety. Yeah. And now by creating more space, and let's face it, they can do it with other guys too if they want, and create more space, they're now giving themselves flexibility to acquire a bigger salary and yet still keep, the fire burning for Gronk if Gronk wants to come back.
Trent Williams, that's not happening though, right? I mean,
I don't think so. I mean, I just bring him up because obviously everyone went crazy over that, and
about that.
He is still an elite left tackle. He's never healthy. He hasn't played 1,000 snaps since 2013. That's a pretty long time, and he constantly has something. Now he would be an upgrade, even if you think Isaiah Wynn can eventually step in there and be a really good left tackle. He'd be an upgrade right currently. But it's a lot of money. He actually wants a pay raise. So I think he's 11 against the cap this year, and that's another part of the whole thing, is he wants more money. So they'd have to figure that out too. So I don't know. I think that's a long shot.
I'd be shocked. I would be shocked, especially at that position where the Patriots have proven that with Dante Scarnecchia running the offensive line, like, they turned water into wine, right? I mean, Trent Brown, yeah. I know they traded for Trent Brown, but he was still a project. And then next thing you know, he becomes the highest paid offensive lineman in the league, right? And the Patriots are like, okay, yeah, go get that money. We know we can slide someone else in here. I don't think the next move is like, yeah, let's go trade something for Trent Williams and then pay him. Like, I'd be shocked if they made that move.
Yeah, I mean, look what they did with Bennett. So Bennett wanted it. He's in the latter stages of his career. He wanted more money. They restructure it again, sort of give him more money, but create the same sort of dent against the cap. And I look at that as it's a 1 year, and okay, if it goes really well and you're really good and you like the experience, we'll consider bringing you back. But to add years onto it and to add guaranteed money onto it for Williams, that doesn't smell like a Patriots move at all. And you're right with Scarnecchia. He's just like, give me the 5 best.
Yeah.
What are our 5 best? I'll make it work. And when your quarterback gets rid of the ball in 2.1 seconds or whatever it is on average, you can get away with an okay tackle as opposed to an all-timer in Trent Williams.